The lobby never asked my name. They already recognized the weight of my footsteps. A single key was waiting on the counter. Its roll number didn't exist anywhere else. The receptionist smiled like she'd been expecting me for decades. One room, 1 year, one visit, nothing more. I opened the door. The air carried forgotten summers, unfinished promises, and the scent of a future that still believed in itself. My old coat hung beside the window. A cracked phone still waited for messages that never deserved replies. Yet somehow I wished I'd answered them. Then someone laughed, I turned, it was me, not younger, complete. He looked at me without disappointment. So, did we become the person we couldn't stop dreaming about? Silence answered first. He remembered ambitions I had traded for survival. He remembered people I had erased to protect myself. He remembered hope before life taught it to whisper. For one impossible evening, I lived inside the version of myself that time had stolen. No fear, no deadlines, no pretending, just possibility. I checked in with regret. I checked out without yesterday. When the elevator doors opened again, I couldn't remember which year had been returned. Only the warmth remained, like recognizing a voice without remembering the face outside. Nothing had changed except me. One chapter of my life had vanished forever. No memories, no photographs, no longing, only a strange peace. Because grief disappears when there's nothing left to grieve. And maybe that's the hotel's greatest trick. It never gives your lost years back. It teaches you how to leave them behind forever. Nobody warned me about that street. The houses looked ordinary. The traffic lights still changed. People kept walking without noticing what was happening beneath their feet. I only realized it when I stopped at a crossing, and my shadow didn't. It kept walking. No hesitation, no confusion, like it already knew the city better than I did at first. I blamed the afternoon sun, then it opened the door I hadn't decided to enter. It crossed roads before I looked, it turned corners I hadn't even noticed. Every choice appeared beneath my feet. Seconds after my shadow had already made it. People smiled at me before I spoke. Someone whispered, "You're late." I asked, "Late for what?" "For becoming the person your shadow already met." My shadow knew my future before I did, so I began resisting when it walked left. I forced myself right. When it stopped, I kept moving. When it reached for someone, I looked away for a while. I believed I was winning, until every escape curved back into the same destination. Different road, same arrival. The stranger my shadow greeted became my closest friend. The door I refused to open became the only exit. The goodbye I postponed still found my mouth. The future never chased me, it simply waited where my shadow had already been. One night I finally caught it, street light above us, silence everywhere. For the first time it looked back, it wasn't copying me, it was exhausted, like someone who had spent years walking ahead just to make sure I survived. Then I understood, it had never been predicting tomorrow, it had been remembering it. Because my shadow wasn't following the light, it was following the life I'd already lived. There wasn't a menu, only a wooden sign above the counter. Sit anywhere, the table already knows your story. No one asked what I wanted to drink. A cup appeared anyway, still warm, like someone had ordered it years before I arrived. Across from me, an empty chair, then it wasn't. You sat down exactly as I remembered you, not older, not younger, frozen inside the afternoon where everything stopped. Neither of us said hello, we simply continued mid-sentence, because I never wanted you to carry that. Your voice didn't sound like memory, it sounded unfinished. I searched for the words I had spent years rehearsing. Nothing came out, the cafe didn't allow new conversations, only endings. You kept talking about fears you never confessed, about the reason you walked away, about the apology that never reached my door. Every sentence closed a wound I didn't know was still open. I finally heard the sentence: we never finished. When the cups became empty, you smiled, not because everything was fixed, because now everything made sense. You stood, so did I. The chair across from me returned to being empty. The waitress collected the cups, there was only one. She whispered, everyone thinks they come here to hear someone else. They never notice that the unfinished conversation outside the city hadn't changed. But for the first time, the silence between yesterday and tomorrow had a period instead of a question mark. By the time I reached the river, the bridge, already knew I was coming. No guards, no gates, just old stone and water that never repeated. The same reflection twice, people crossed it every day, laughing, arguing, running late, holding hands when they reached the other side. They kept walking, lighter, as if something invisible had stayed behind. The old man selling maps looked at me and said, don't worry, bridge forgets everyone. I asked everyone, he nodded. It has to, otherwise it would collapse under the weight of who we used to be. So I crossed halfway, the wind stopped, the river fell silent. For one heartbeat I saw them, thousands of faded silhouettes, each one waiting to become someone else. Then I reached the opposite side. Nothing happened. Days passed, months, years. One afternoon I returned. The old man was gone, only the bridge remained. As I stepped onto the first stone, a voice echoed through the arches. Not loud, just familiar, it spoke my name. The bridge forgot every name except mine. I stood frozen. Then I understood, everyone else had left something behind. Their pride, their fear, their anger, their guilt. The bridge erased the names of the people who chose to change. Mine remain, because I crossed it exactly the same. The bridge hadn't cursed me, it had been waiting for me to become someone worth forgetting. By closing time, everyone had found the book they came for. A father left, holding the afternoon. His daughter was born, an old musician walked away with the winter. He wrote his only masterpiece. A woman smiled while carrying the day she forgave herself. The shells grew lighter, only one request remained unanswered, mine. I wasn't searching for yesterday, I wasn't searching for answers. I only wanted to know what tomorrow looked like. The librarian searched every aisle, her footsteps grew slower. She checked the returns desk, the archive, the basement. Then she stopped for the first time. She looked frightened, she whispered, "It isn't here." The entire building fell still, not because a book had disappeared, because no one had ever asked for tomorrow before. She opened a small drawer beneath the counter. Inside, thousands of library cards, every one of them had today's date. None had ever been stamped for tomorrow. Tomorrow had already been borrowed. I laughed. By who? She closed the drawer. By the person you become after you leave. She slid an empty library card across the desk. No title, no due date, only one line, author, blank. I understood the library had never kept the future. It was waiting for someone to write the first sentence. The station never appeared on maps. Some people walk past it their whole lives without seeing a single platform. Others found it on the worst day they had ever lived. No timetable, no destination board, only one empty track stretching farther than the horizon could explain. Passengers kept arriving, not together, one by one. A boxer carrying a championship belt. He no longer wanted a woman holding a wedding ring inside her closed fist. A teenager with a backpack that looked heavier than the books inside. Nobody spoke, nobody asked where the train was going. They all waited like they already knew the answer was in the place. I thought I missed it years ago. I remembered every opportunity that slipped away, every goodbye, every dream that arrived too late. So when I heard the whistle, I started running. The conductor raised his hand, not to stop me, to slow me down. He smiled like someone who had repeated the same sentence forever. You didn't miss anything. The doors opened, no one rushed. One passenger stood, another sat down. No confusion, no hurry, only certainty. The train that never arrived late. I stepped inside, there were no seat numbers, only reflections. Each window showed a different version of me. The man who blamed the world, the boy who feared failure, the stranger who kept pretending he was fine. The train didn't move, they did, one by one. They walked off at stations. I couldn't see when the last reflection disappeared. The carriage finally shook, the conductor never asked for a ticket. Only one question: is there anyone left you still need to be? I looked around for the first time, every seat was empty. The train began to move, not because it was time, because I was. The posters outside had no faces, no titles, no actors anyone could name. People still formed a line. They curled around the block holding their tickets like private confessions inside. The screen stayed pale until the final person took their seat, and somebody's childhood filled the room. A bicycle leaning against summer grass, a mother calling from another floor, two brothers making peace before they learned how to hold grudges. No camera had been there still. The light remembered everything. Nobody clapped when it ended. The next film began inside a hospital corridor. A man near the back covered his mouth before his father appeared. We watched him say, "I'll come back tomorrow," then watch tomorrow arrive without him. He left before the credits that never came. The cinema only played memories, nothing rehearsed, nothing arranged. The screen took what we carried and made it too large to hide. The cinema only played memories, and somewhere in the dark we learned the past looks different from somebody else's side. I waited for mine, the night I lost you, the argument, the final sentence, the moment your footsteps became part of another street. But the screen chose Someone seated 3 rows ahead. Her memory began in a crowded underground carriage. She was younger then, crying into her sleeve while strangers studied their phones. A man sat beside her. He never asked what happened. He only placed his unopened bottle of water between them and stayed until her breathing softened. The camera turned toward him. It was me, not the version I had carried for years. Not careless, not cruel, not ruined beyond repair. Just a stranger who once noticed another person was hurting. She had remembered my kindness longer than I remembered giving it. My own past had edited that scene out. The cinema only played memories, but none of them belonged alone. We thought we came to see who we had been. Instead, we watched ourselves survive inside people we barely knew. Then your face appeared, not in my memory, in yours. You were standing where our story ended, but you weren't angry. You touched the place where I had been and said to no one. He thought I stopped loving him. I only stopped knowing how to stay. The whole room disappeared behind the light. For years I had remembered you leaving. You had remembered not being able to remain. Same scene, different wound. When the film burned white, nobody moved. There were no credits because memory never admits who wrote the ending outside. The posters were still blank, but beneath one of them a new line had appeared. Tonight's feature will be remembered differently by everyone who was there. Nobody picked the flowers, not because of signs, because everyone who reached for one forgot why they wanted it. The paths curved like unfinished thoughts, leading nowhere, twice the same way at dusk. The first petals open, no fragrance, no color any language could agree on. Only images inside one blossom. A little girl ran across a beach, laughing toward a man who looked exactly like me. She called me dad, I had never met her. The flower folded shut. A few steps later, another bloom unfolded. A tiny apartment, rain tapping against the glass, paint covering the floor. Someone humming beside me while we built a life too small to impress anyone, too full to need anything else. That flower closed too. Every blossom held a complete life, not dreams, not fantasies, decisions that had once waited for a single word. Yes, no, stay, leave, call, don't. I kept walking, watching entire decades open and disappear with the setting sun. One flower never opened, it stood alone, still wrapped inside itself. I waited night deep in nothing, then I understood it wasn't showing the life I had refused. It was waiting for the decision I still hadn't made around me. The garden slowly faded, not because morning was coming, because regrets only bloom until courage finally does. first room contained no paintings, only empty frames. People stood before them for hours. Some cried, some smiled, some left without understanding what they had just seen. A small plaque hung beneath each frame. It never described what had happened, only what never did. I will miss your birthday again. The frame remained empty, yet somewhere inside it a little girl kept waiting by a window that no longer exists. Another room, a cracked marble sculpture, two hands almost touching, never quite meeting. Its title read, "Call me when you get home." The phone never rang, neither did tomorrow. Further inside, glass cases held invisible objects. Visitors leaned closer, trying to see them. One case was labeled, "We'll build it together." Inside, an entire company that never employed anyone. Thousands of lives that never crossed paths. Ideas that stayed unborn, all because two friends stopped speaking one Tuesday afternoon. There were no security guards, nothing could be stolen. Regret already had the final gallery, contained only light. No walls, no ceiling, no art. People walked in, then stood perfectly still, as if listening. A new exhibit appeared every few moments, not delivered, created somewhere. Another promise had just been broken. The museum never closed, it simply kept growing. I turned to leave. Near the exit, I noticed one frame without a title, without glass, without dust, completely empty below it. Only 6 words reserved for the promise. You still have time to keep. 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 Nobody stayed long. People climbed the last flight of stairs, stood beneath the open sky, closed their eyes and left a little quieter than they arrived. Nothing happened, no shooting stars, no miracles, no answers falling from the clouds, just wind crossing the concrete like it had somewhere important to be. Years passed before I returned. The city had grown taller, the rooftops had multiplied, even the skyline had forgotten what it used to look like. But the old building was still waiting. I stepped onto the roof. The silence felt familiar, not empty, patient. Then I heard it. A little boy laughing, another voice dreaming of becoming someone impossible. A girl promising herself she would never stop drawing. A teenager whispering, I hope someone loves me before I forget how to love myself. remembered every wish ever spoken there, not as echoes, as beginnings. Thousands of voices floating above the city, still believing their future was listening. Then one voice rose above the rest, mine smaller, brighter, certain. I don't wanna be famous, I just wanna create something that makes strangers feel less alone. I froze, I had spent years chasing numbers, watching screens, counting applause, measuring progress with things that disappeared overnight. Somewhere along the way I had forgotten the only wish that truly belonged to me. The rooftop hadn't, the wind carried my younger voice across the buildings. One last time, it sounded nothing like regret, it sounded like directions. When I finally walked away, the city hadn't changed, neither had the sky. Only one thing was different, I wasn't searching for a new dream anymore. I was simply walking back toward the first one that had been waiting on that rooftop all along. Every morning someone noticed it for the first time. A narrow apartment building squeezed between places that swore it hadn't been there yesterday. The mailboxes already carried names, the plants were already watered, the lights already knew which room stayed awake too late. It looked lived in. By sunset, people stopped questioning it. By sunrise, it belonged to another street. No trucks, no engines, no headlines, only different neighbors opening their curtains to find a building that had quietly chosen them. The walls were unusually thin, not enough to hear conversations, just enough to hear emotion. Some nights laughter slipped through other nights. Someone whispered, I'm trying. Sometimes nothing at all, only breathing. Weeks passed, I never met the people next door. Still, I began changing. I called my mother after hearing someone else lose theirs. I forgave a friend because one wall had carried an argument that lasted 3 years. I started writing again after listening to a piano that always stopped before the final note. None of those lives were mine, yet somehow they kept repairing pieces of my own. One evening I came home early, the hallway was empty. Every door stood open, every room had been cleared, not abandoned, completed. In the center of the building, a single elevator waited. Its display showed no numbers, only one word. Next, the doors opened. Inside, there wasn't a mirror, there was tomorrow. Not mine, someone else's. A child drawing impossible cities, an old man learning to dance, a couple choosing forgiveness over being right. The apartment had never been looking for neighborhoods, it had been collecting unfinished people, placing them beside strangers who unknowingly still had something to teach. When I look back, the building was already fading into another street. No goodbye, no farewell, just one window still glowing for whoever would wake up beside it tomorrow morning, believing it had always been there. buttons had no numbers, just fingerprints, thousands of them, pressed by people who believed they were choosing the floor. The doors closed, the elevator moved, not up, not down, somewhere else. It opened a rainy afternoon. A crowded supermarket, my younger self stood in line, checking the coins inside my pocket. An elderly man behind me couldn't afford the last item in his basket. Without thinking, I paid for it. I never learned his name. The doors closed again. Another stop, a train platform. A stranger asked me,
"Does this line go north?"
I answered, pointed, and walked away. Nothing more. The doors closed again. A park, a little girl searched frantically for a red balloon caught in a tree. I climbed, returned it, she laughed. The elevator never stayed long enough to hear what happened next. Stop after stop, I waited for the day I fell in love. The day my heart broke, the day I changed careers. None of them came. Only forgotten afternoons, tiny interruptions, conversations too short to remember. The doors open one final time. There was no one, only hundreds of photographs floating through the air. The old man, the traveler, the little girl, faces I barely recognized. Each picture continued after I had left. The old man lived long enough to meet his grandson. The traveler caught the last train before the station closed forever. The girl grew up to paint enormous skies, always hiding a tiny red balloon in every canvas. I finally understood. The elevator never skipped floors, it skipped the moments I believed were about me. Because the greatest stories I ever entered were the ones where I was only a passing character. When the doors opened again, I was back where I started. The panel was still blank, except for one light. It wasn't asking where I wanted to go, it was waiting to see whose story I would quietly change next. Morning always arrived first, before the runners, before the pigeons, before the children claimed the swings as kingdoms of their own. The benches waited, not patiently, expectantly. One by one, people borrowed them for reasons they rarely admitted. A young man sat down with an engagement ring hidden inside his pocket. He stood up alone. The bench remembered the exact second hope learned how disappointment sounds. An old woman arrived every Thursday, carrying 2 cups of coffee. One stayed untouched year after year. The bench remembered the afternoon. Loneliness stopped feeling like punishment and quietly became love's longest conversation. A teenager threw a university letter into the bin and climbed back to rescue it. Before anyone noticed, the bench remembered the instant fear lost by a heartbeat. None of those stories left photographs, none made the news, but every bench carried them like invisible fingerprints. I visited the park for years, always choosing the same bench, always leaving with the same questions. I had brought one autumn evening, I noticed something strange. Every bench had grown older, the wood was darker, the paint had faded except mine. It looked untouched, almost new. I ran my hand across its surface, nothing, no warmth, no echoes, no weight, only silence. For the first time I understood what the park had been trying to tell me. Every other bench remembered who people became after they stood up. Mine remembered no one, 'cause every time I left I carried home the same fears, the same excuses, the same unfinished version of myself. I sat there until sunset, not waiting for inspiration, not hoping for a miracle, just deciding that when I stood, the bench would finally have someone worth remembering. I found the alley because a photograph had something impossible in it. At the edge of the picture, between a bakery and a record shop, there was a narrow passage. I went back the next morning. The bakery was there, the record shop was there. The alley wasn't. Weeks later, it appeared again. This time behind a woman who had just lied to someone she loved. The moment the lie left him out. Now if the alley existed only for a heartbeat, then it was gone. I stopped looking for it. Instead, I started watching people. A son saying, "I'm fine." A father pretending he wasn't afraid. Two best friends laughing instead of apologizing. A musician throwing away the first song he truly believed in. Each time the same thing happened for the smallest fraction of a second. The world opened a narrow passage nobody noticed except me. One evening I followed it. The walls weren't made of brick, they were made of voices. Thousands of them, not speaking and stopping. Half-finished confessions, interrupted true sentences that reached the lips and turned around. I wish it was me. I'm sorry. Every unfinished word became another stone, holding the alley together. There was no end, only more silence built from everything human beings couldn't bring themselves to say. Then I heard one voice, clearer than all the others, mine, not from yesterday, from years ago. I love you. The words had never left my mouth, yet here they were, still waiting. I reached toward them, the walls trembled. One brick dissolved, then another. A crack of daylight slipped through for the first time. The alley grew smaller. I understood. It had never been collecting our secrets. It had been carrying the weight of every truth we abandoned. And every time someone finally spoke what fear had imprisoned, another wall disappeared forever. When I walked back into the city, nothing looked different except the spaces between people. They suddenly felt a little less impossible, because somewhere a forgotten alley had just become too small to hide another truth. I wasn't looking for it. I had only missed the last train. The platform empty. Time itself stopped mattering. Then a railway track appeared where I had never seen one before. It had no destination, no schedule. Only a single light waiting for someone to choose to cross it. The moment I stepped off, the city breathed as though it had been waiting for me long before I existed. The streets never hurried, conversations were never interrupted. Goodbyes lasted exactly as long as the heart needed them to. A shoemaker never repaired shoes. He restored courage to those who no longer knew how to take another step. Inside a bookstore, shelves held books that no one had written yet. The cafe kept empty tables because some people were still on their way to meeting each other. Everything felt ordinary until I realized that the world outside was the strange one. I kept walking, every corner felt like a memory I had never lived. I didn't know anyone who lived there, yet somehow everyone seemed to remember my best self. Not the person I was, the person I could still become. No one questioned me, no one tried to stop me. They simply treated me as though I had already forgiven all the things I was still carrying. When the first ray of sunlight touched the rooftops, nobody ran, nobody hid. The city didn't disappear, I was the one who forgot how to remember it. I woke on the same platform, no ticket, no luggage, only a feeling that refused to be explained. The days went on, yeah, something had changed. People told me I spoke more slowly, that I listened until the very end, that I smiled like someone who I'd finally stopped chasing something invisible. They asked what had happened to me. I never found an answer, because I forgot the name of that city. I forgot its streets, its buildings, its voice. But I never forgot the person who came back wearing my life. And sometimes late at night, when the last train passes through the station without stopping, I no longer hope to find that city again. I only hope that the person I am today is still worthy of the person that city chose to return to the world.